Hello friends, welcome again to another video where I talk about how you can go about acing Procter & Gamble interview process. Now, a question that I get a lot is, can we use non-work examples or stories in our Procter & Gamble interview? Now, before I answer this question, let me tell you who I am. I've had career with Procter & Gamble for around 11 years. I was trained to be an interviewer at Procter & Gamble twice, and I've interviewed multiple candidates for Procter & Gamble and also received rewards for one of the best interviewers in multi-year during my career. Now, coming back to the question, which is whether we can use non-work examples in our interview or not. Now, what is meant by non-work examples is usually examples related to your social work, any club, any hobby, any activity, any internship for that matter, or any non-paid activity that you've had. Can you use any example from that into your interview? And by the way, it can also be any activity or project that you did on your campus, in your university, in your college. So anything for which you did not get paid, rather it was volunteer or was social work or was any academic work, can you use those examples in your Procter & Gamble interview? Now here it is very important for us to first understand why is the interviewer who is interviewing you is asking for such stories, such examples for you to share. The reason is that they want to know that there might be certain instances or cases that will happen at the workplace, and they want to know if you've had those experiences in past and can you replicate the process with which you solve those issues or those problems. So the idea here is that they want to see that basis your past experience, whatever experience you had, if a similar experience is repeated at Procter & Gamble at your workplace, can you solve it or not? So when you share with them examples from past, it kind of gives them assurance that you've had that experience in past, and hence they can be assured that if a similar situation or an example occurs at your workplace when you've joined the company, you will be able to solve it. Because when you share your story, you just don't share your story. You also share the steps or the process you made use of in order to solve that situation. Now, one call out before moving forward. In case you find any value from this video, please press the like button as this keeps me motivated. Second, and more importantly, press the subscribe button along with the bell icon so you get notified as soon as I put new content on this channel. On this channel, I post content pertaining to financial and career success for early and mid-career professionals. Other than that, in case you want to support me in making similar unbiased content, you can do so on patreon.com. I will leave the link to my Patreon page in the description of this video. Now, let me also bring it out here that I also provide one-to-one coaching and mock interview sessions. In case you are interested in booking one with me, you can book using the link that I will leave in the description of this video. In case you are inquisitive or curious as to what would I cover in that session, I have a sample coaching session which I recorded with one of my followers who reached out to me for coaching and mock interview session. You can check it out here. Now let's get rolling back into the video. Now the short answer to this question is yes, you can make use of non-work examples. However, there are limitations and there are certain parameters which I will talk about in this video. Now for the interviewer, think from their angle. They would be questioning, why are you making use of non-work example? Does it mean that you don't have a good working example, like you don't have a good example from your workplace or your work experience, and that is why you're using a non-work example? Or is it that you don't have experience at all and that is all you've done, which is you have non-work related examples altogether because you've never had a working experience or never worked in an organization or never got paid to work? And hence it is very important that you are sure and certain that you don't have a better example or you don't have a work example, and you're only left with the option where you can use non-work example to illustrate the question or illustrate the scenario that the interviewer is asking. Now here it is very important that you share an example or story from a scenario which is reapplicable at a workplace or which can be reapplied at Procter & Gamble's workplace. So for the interviewer, they should be able to visualize that whatever happened at your non-workplace or whatever is that non-work example, it can be reapplied or replicated at Procter & Gamble workplace. Now let me give you a bad example first. Let's say you talk about a situation where you had a health issue. Let's say you broke a ligament and you were able to recover from that broken ligament in the fastest possible time ever, like you broke all records and you were able to recover because of your resolve, because of your commitment and the workouts you did and all the physio that you do. Here the issue is that while it's a good example, you recovered from something in no time with speed. However, this example cannot be reapplied or cannot fit in a work scenario at Procter & Gamble, because you will not have a situation where you will break a ligament. You are there to work, you'll have business issues, you have business challenges, and you will have business scenarios, but you won't have a health scenario or health challenge or health issue. Hence, for the interviewer, it would be very difficult to imagine how this example can be reapplied at the workplace. Similarly, now taking a good example, if there is an example where you worked in a project, in your college and you were to submit a report on some industry, and you worked as a team and there was a conflict in the team, and you talk about the conflict because let's say it's a conflict question, and you talk about how that conflict happened. There was an individual in the team who wasn't contributing, and you had to work with them, you had to collaborate with them, resolve the conflict and get them to work and get them to give and distribute or deliver their best. Now, this particular scenario can be easily reapplied at the workplace, and for the interviewer it would be very easy to imagine such a scenario where you're working on a project and there is one individual with whom you have a conflict. Now, how do you go about managing the conflict? So the process that you use to resolve the conflict for a university project would be very much similar to the process that you would use to resolve a conflict at workplace. So the interviewer is thinking this individual knows the process, has used the process. Of course, they have not used the process at a workplace, but have used the process in their university or in their college project, and hence they can justify that this particular process can be reapplied at the Procter & Gamble workplace, and therefore it is a good example. So you need to judge and evaluate whether a particular example you're about to share is a work related example. Can it be reapplied at the workplace or not? Or it is just purely a non-work example which has no legs, no footings, or no way it can be reapplied at the workplace. So again, you can use examples from your club, you can use examples from any volunteer work, any internship you did, your university college projects, your sports team, all of them. But make sure these are the examples which can be reapplied at the workplace. Because even if you're not getting paid in those scenarios, but your motivations, your surrounding, your circumstances are very much similar to what you would find at Procter & Gamble or at the Procter & Gamble working conditions or working scenarios, then yes, it is a good example and you can use it. So essentially, even if you're not being paid, even if it's a volunteer work, it's a non-work example. However, the motivation, the situation or the circumstances are such that they can easily be reapplied at a workplace. What you need to essentially do is help the interviewer imagine that whatever scenario you went through can be reapplied at the workplace. And if that is the case, yes, it is a good example and you can use it. But if you cannot manage the reapplication of that example, or you cannot help the interviewer imagine that this example can be reapplied at workplace, then don't give that example. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully after watching this video, you will be better prepared with regards to your examples and stories that you want to share in the Procter & Gamble interview process. In case you like the video, I'm sure you'll like another video where I talk about what things not to do in a Procter & Gamble interview. You can check out that video here. Other than that, I've made another video where I talk about how you can go about introducing yourself. That is when you're asked the question, tell me about yourself. You can check out that video here. Thank you.